Good day, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a story from the Bible that beautifully demonstrates faith, courage, and God's divine plan. It is the story of baby Moses being placed in the river, found in Exodus 2:1-10. While this story takes place in a time of great oppression and difficulty, it also shows us how God's sovereignty and love work through human actions to fulfill his purposes. Let us dive into this powerful narrative and uncover the lessons it holds for us today. 1. Trusting God's providence. First, we see the remarkable trust Moses' mother, Jochebed, had in God. Faced with Pharaoh's cruel edict to kill all male Hebrew babies, she acted with both wisdom and faith. She crafted a papyrus basket, waterproofed it, and placed her son in the Nile River. Imagine the emotional struggle she must have felt as she released her precious child into the river, completely trusting that God would protect him. What can we learn from this? Life often puts us in situations where we must surrender control. We might not know the outcome, but Jochebed's story reminds us that when we trust God, he works in ways beyond our understanding. Her faith was not misplaced, as God orchestrated events to ensure Moses' safety. 2. God's sovereignty in action. The details of the story reveal God's intricate plan. The basket floated safely to a place where Pharaoh's daughter would find it. Her heart was moved with compassion when she saw the crying baby. This is no coincidence, it is God's hand at work. Pharaoh's daughter, an unlikely ally, chose to adopt Moses, ensuring his survival and raising him within the very household that sought to oppress his people. This teaches us that God's sovereignty is not limited by human opposition. He can use anyone, even those in positions of power or those who may seem far removed from faith, to accomplish his purposes. 3. Courage and faith in action. Jochebed and Moses' sister, Miriam, demonstrated incredible courage. Jochebed's act of placing Moses in the river required faith, while Miriam's boldness in approaching Pharaoh's daughter to suggest a Hebrew nurse shows her resourcefulness and bravery. Miriam's quick thinking ensured that Moses' own mother would be able to nurse him. This connection allowed Moses to grow up knowing his heritage and faith, even while being raised in Pharaoh's palace. Sometimes, God calls us to step out in faith and act boldly. Miriam's example reminds us that even in our youth or perceived insignificance, God can use us to bring about his plans. 4. The power of compassion. Pharaoh's daughter's compassion stands out in this story. She knew Moses was a Hebrew child, yet she chose to save and raise him as her own. Her willingness to act against the norms of her time and show kindness to a helpless baby changed the course of history. This teaches us that acts of compassion, no matter how small, can have far-reaching effects. In a world often divided by race, class, or nationality, we are called to extend kindness and love to all, just as Pharaoh's daughter did. 5. God prepares deliverers. The story of baby Moses is not just about his survival. It is about God's preparation of a deliverer. By protecting Moses and placing him in Pharaoh's household, God equipped him with the knowledge and skills he would later use to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses' journey shows that even in our weakest moments, God is preparing us for his greater purpose. Are there challenges in your life that feel overwhelming? Remember that God may be using these experiences to shape you for a greater mission. Closing thoughts. The story of baby Moses reminds us of several key truths. Trusting God's providence brings peace in uncertain times. God's sovereignty can turn even the most dire circumstances into opportunities for his glory. Courage and faith in action make a difference, no matter how small we feel. Compassion has the power to transcend boundaries and change lives. God is always preparing us for his divine purpose. As we reflect on this story, let us ask ourselves, how can we trust God more fully in our lives? Where is he calling us to act courageously or show compassion? And how might he be preparing us for a role in his greater plan? Thank you, and may we carry these lessons in our hearts as we face the challenges of our own lives with faith, courage, and trust in God.